Good evening. How are you doing this evening, this lovely Saturday evening? I hope that you're fantastic. You had a great day. And of course, you're ready for tonight's show. It's going to be a great one. Of course, we have the top stories of the night and of the day. And apart from that, of course, we also have Say What? And tonight, we have a very sensitive topic on telling you we're talking about bills. Who's supposed to be paying these bills? Is it the man? Is it the, should it be shared? Is it the woman? These are questions of the day, as you can say. Who should handle bills at home? Is it the man, or should the bills be shared? This is actually one of the very most sensitive topics we've had here before on the show. But of course, tonight we want to delve even deeper into that. I appreciate you joining us tonight. Let's begin the show with the highlights.
I like to talk to the officer in charge, and it's my right.
Former Cabinet Secretary Raphael Tuju forcibly removed from his current property by armed police officers in a 2.2 billion shilling death roll. EPRA announces that fuel pump prices remain unchanged for the next month, but a closer look at the tabulation shows a rising landed cost and an increasing allocation of the stabilization fund. A family in Utawala is demanding justice after their 10-year-old son was allegedly brutally beaten by a teacher in school.
Tukiendelea kumuuliza akasema he was caned by the math teacher and he was caned 120 times.
The school, however, remains unremorseful of the acts.
Of course, we have that and more. Our sign language anchor tonight is Catherine Simaloy. Let's get the show started. And a dramatic midnight operation has left former Information and Communications Minister Raphael Tuju out of his multi-billion shilling Karen property, thrusting a decade-long death battle back into the national spotlight. Now, police officers reportedly descended on the premises in the dead of the night, evicting Tuju, his guards and workers from the compound in an operation he now insists was carried out without a court order. Now, the standoff stems from a 9.3 million shilling loan dispute between Tuju's company, Dari Limited, and the East African Development Bank after the High Court of Kenya cleared the way for the auction of properties used as collateral. Munene John now unpacks the dramatic events that unfolded overnight. Take a look.
Now 3:30 a.m. in the morning. I'm still at the gate of my premises.
In the chilling cold of midnight, silence at Dari Business Park in Karen was suddenly broken when more than 50 police officers reportedly moved in, storming the premises and ordering out security guards and workers linked to former Minister Raphael Tuju.
These are the latest police officers who have come.
The dramatic overnight operation unfolded at around 3 a.m. at the height of a long-running multi-billion shilling debt dispute between Tuju's company Dari Limited and the East African Development Bank. Speaking outside the gate of the property, Tuju maintained that the officers carrying out the operation had no court order authorizing the eviction. He further argued that even if such an order exists, the law does not permit the eviction of a property owner in the dead of the night.
So Tuju wants to pay his debts. So the long and short of it is that they are not interested in being paid. They've always been interested in taking my properties in Karen.
Tuju described the action as unlawful and said it appeared designed to pressure him in a financial dispute that has dragged on for more than a decade. He confirmed that he and his legal team will move to the Court of Appeal on March 16th, seeking orders to halt the takeover or sale of the property until their case is fully heard.
All these shenanigans we are seeing is that because we're in court also on Monday at the Court of Appeal, Monday the 16th. So all these shenanigans trying to take this possession of this property is to preempt any favorable ruling that I may have in future.
As the properties at the center of the dispute face the risk of being auctioned, the case continues to raise broader questions about law enforcement, property rights, and the role of security agencies in civil disputes in Kenya. Munene John, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, police in Juja sub-county have arrested several people after raiding a suspected Mungiki sect called Shrine linked to harmful practices, including female genital mutilation. Now, Juja sub-county police commander Bernard Ndungu says officers acted on intelligence reports pointing to illegal activities disguised as religious rituals. During the early morning operation, police found men, women and children gathered at the shrine. Now, items recovered included traditional brew, commonly known as muratina, believed to have been used in the sect's activities. Investigations began last year after reports of suspicious gatherings. Authorities suspect the sect relocated to Juja after being driven out of another area and may still be recruiting new members. The shrine has since been closed, with police warning that anyone found engaging in outlawed practices such as FGM will face legal action.
So this morning we came and we found they were actively on the sect in the shrine. So we have arrested a few members of the sect, some men and some few women, for further investigations concerning, because we are suspecting, we have some intelligence that they are carrying out FGM, that is female genital mutilation. So that is the reason why we came this morning, and we have under that the sub-county security team, we had deliberated on the same, and because it was being monitored, so we are about to cross this sect for further investigation. Yeah, from I believe we started investigation about the same since last year. There was a time we visited the same, but that time the members were few. But now it seems it has grown. They are still recruiting, and I understand it's like they just relocated here from another sub-county within Kiambu.
Now, a family in Utawala is demanding justice after their 10-year-old son was brutally beaten by a teacher at Bridge Rose Jewels Academy, Utawala, for failing to properly do an assignment. Now, the boy was admitted in hospital with severe injuries, while the teacher was seen in the school carrying on his lessons. Suzanne Locho has the details.
A 10-year-old boy is nursing serious injuries in hospital after an alleged brutal beating by a teacher at Bridge Rose Jewels Academy in Utawala. The pupil, who has had a broken hand for several weeks, was punished for reportedly failing to properly do an assignment, and later the teacher allegedly took him to an abandoned classroom where he was allegedly caned more than 120 strokes.
Seti hakuwa amemaliza homework. Ni alikuwa amezipanga vibaya as what the teacher said. Sindio? So akaanza kumpunish hapo. Kwa class akampiga 30 canes, like right there and then. Then after that akamkujia break time. Akaenda tena akampiga.
According to the family, the boy can neither sit nor bend due to the pain and injuries sustained, and has been forced to use diapers at 10 years old.
Can't walk, he can't sit, and he can't go to the toilet.
When the boy's mother went to school seeking answers, she claims she was confronted and harassed by security guards and members of the staff, including teacher Nevin, who is a perpetrator in this case.
Found him there, very present and teaching. Then nikamuuliza, you teacher Nevin, he didn't answer yes or no. Akaanza tu kunistrangle. I even have marks.
Efforts by TV47 to obtain a clear response from the school administration were unsuccessful, as the deputy principal uttered rude remarks showing neither remorse nor concern, asking the boy's mother to be grateful for the x-ray the school had paid for.
Hakuna haja tuongee kitu kama wazima, tena unasunguka nyuma, unatumia pesa. Hata mama alisema don't use money. Wao kasema tena unilipia. I paid. Report ikatoka it here.
It also emerged that the same teacher had a similar brutality case in 2025 and got away with a slap on the wrist.
Mtu anapatiwa chance. Mtu anapatiwa chance.
The situation escalated when members of TV47 were chased away from the school premises, with the deputy principal allegedly threatening to confiscate journalists' employment cards. The matter was reported and the police have launched an investigation on the teacher who is now missing. And despite the school refusing to properly address journalists and instead chased us away, the question still remains: what happens inside the classrooms? However, the mother vows not to stop until justice is served. Susan Locho for TV47, Nairobi.
Very unfortunate. Now, as the rollout of lenacapavir gains momentum across the country, health professionals have urged men who use Viagra for erectile-related complications to inform healthcare providers while taking the lenacapavir injection so that they can get clear information on the proposed dose adjustments. Elizabeth Atieno now reports.
Health experts are warning that lenacapavir, the long-acting HIV prevention drug given twice a year, may interact dangerously with Viagra. Viagra is broken down in the liver by an enzyme called CYP3A4. Lenacapavir slows down this enzyme, meaning Viagra can stay longer in the body at higher levels than intended.
For Viagra, or people who are using medications for erectile dysfunction, for instance, the recommendation is to begin with a lower dose of the Viagra because of the drug-to-drug interaction between lenacapavir and that drug.
Lenacapavir may raise blood levels of Viagra, increasing risks of side effects such as severe low blood pressure, dizziness, headaches, vision changes, and a prolonged painful erection. Doctors now recommend lower starting doses of Viagra for patients using lenacapavir because the injection lasts 6 months. Its effect on the enzyme can continue for up to 9 months, keeping the risk of interaction long after the dose.
Make your Viagra dose higher so it becomes toxic. You experience toxicity associated with Viagra. So you want to start with a lower dose of Viagra.
Dr. Elizabeth Irungu has urged Kenyans to share full medical histories before starting lenacapavir, since dose adjustments may also affect those on cholesterol, erectile dysfunction, or TB medication.
So let's say you've been on lenacapavir, you got your shot last month, then you're supposed to start TB treatment today. Today, as you're starting your TB treatment, I also give you lenacapavir again, like a start dose. So 2 shots plus 2 pills and 2 pills tomorrow. Because TB drugs will break down your lenacapavir faster.
Lenacapavir is strictly for HIV-negative individuals and is injected in the abdomen or thighs. If a client misses their injection by more than 2 weeks, they must start the dose. Importantly, lenacapavir has been proven safe for pregnant and breastfeeding mothers, helping reduce mother-to-child HIV transmission. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
Thanks, Elizabeth, for that. Now, a new online trend has sparked debate after videos surfaced showing men walking into pharmacies to buy condoms and asking female staff to help them check if the products fit. Now, the clips, many recorded on mobile phones, have generated mixed reactions online, drawing both laughter and concern over professional boundaries, privacy, and sexual health awareness. Faith Wangari tells us more.
Neza pima CD. Kuna zingine ziko gandogo.
Let's spill some tea. Word on the street is that some men are walking into pharmacies, buying condoms, and then asking the ladies behind the counter to help them put them on, or even check if the condom actually fits. Yes, you heard me right.
Alafu suraruyo moja. Raruyo moja.
Clips making rounds online show awkward encounters at pharmacy counters, with some men reportedly seeking a little more assistance than the job description of those behind the counter allows. But here's the truth that's often overlooked. Pharmacists or professionals who work in chemists can give advice, explain how condoms work, and even demonstrate proper use on models. However, physically helping a client try one on crosses professional boundaries. Why? Because pharmacy rules and ethics are designed to protect both staff and customers. Simple, right? Now, here's a serious side of the story. Some of the viral videos circulating online clearly shows the pharmacists face uniforms in workplaces. That exposure can put them at risk from embarrassment and harassment to reputational damage. Experts say sharing such footage without consent raises serious privacy and professional concerns.
Like on principle, what is being done is wrong. As you know, pharmacies have both pharmacists and pharmaceutical technology. It is not allowed to actually do that, to do what they are doing. Pharmacists should teach patients on product use, on safe product use, because as you know, the product is being used to prevent STIs. But that is not the way it should be done. It shouldn't be like a joke, and it is being recorded.
And while the situation may sound humorous to some, it raises a bigger question. Are some men lacking proper sexual education or simply skipping the instruction manual? Some professionals, however, say they are happy to offer guidance, just not hands-on assistance.
12 inches, naweza pima?
Faith Wangari for TV47.
Kuna zingine ziko gandogo kwangu sana.
Mimi niko na swali, je, huu ni ungwana? Huu ni ungwana kweli? All right, let's move on to other top stories. And at a time when Africa's future increasingly depends on collaboration and mutual understanding, multilingualism is fast becoming a critical skill in shaping global connections in Kenya. Language training institutions such as Pearlson Languages are now championing multilingualism as a key driver for the country's global engagement and competitiveness. Under the competency-based curriculum, CBC learners are encouraged to explore international languages as part of broader skills development, especially as they transition to grade 10, where pathways such as social sciences open doors to global career opportunities. Educators say learning institutions and, of course, learning international languages not only enhances communication, but also expands a learner's worldview, making it easier to interact, study, and work across different cultures.
At a time when Africa's future depends on collaboration, innovation, and mutual understanding, multilingualism is no longer an option, it is essential. And that is why we remain committed to expanding access of quality language education nationwide and positioning multilingualism as a key driver for Africa's development and global engagement. So this is not just a competition, it is an investment in Africa's better tomorrow.
When you're interacting with others, it will make it easier because you will understand their language and will also make peace with them. It is really fun.
Multilingual has thoroughly taught us how to communicate with others, and it has taught us also how to be positive about ourselves.
To those who take the social science pathway, learning more than 40 languages might help you in your career opportunities and job choosing careers.
Learners understand cross-cultural activities, cross-cultural norms that come with the whole world. We want to produce learners who are globally competitive in every language.
Really urging parents to make sure that at least where their children are learning, they should at least take one language, foreign language, which will assist them in grade 10.
As we continue growing, we find that we're going to interact with more people who talk in different language. And as we know, as a country, we are one, and as a globe, we are one.
Now, thousands of Kenyans turned out today for the annual Heart to Heart Run, one of the country's largest charity initiatives aimed at raising funds for children in need of life-saving heart surgery. Now, the run, organized by Karen Hospital, brings together families, corporates and volunteers across several towns to support treatment for children from low-income families suffering from heart conditions. Organizers say this year's initiative is targeting at least 20 children to benefit from corrective heart surgery, using funds raised during the charity run to give the young patients a second chance at life. Now, over 15,000 participants from churches, schools, corporations and individual supporters gathered in Nairobi for the Run for the Bible-less Community. Now, the campaign highlights the plight of more than 35 communities in Kenya that still lack access to the Bible in their indigenous languages. Now, religious stakeholders explained that translating the Bible into local languages is not just about faith, but about cultural identity and inclusion. While they emphasized that without scripture in their mother tongue, many Kenyans remain disconnected from understanding the Word of God fully. Now, the run aimed to raise funds to support translation projects, a process described as complex and resource-intensive. Organizers called for the continued support to ensure that every community can access the Bible in a language they understand. All right, so we just want to take a quick look at one of our very top stories tonight. And tonight, fuel subsidies are seemingly back in Kenya, despite President William Ruto's earlier pledge to scrap them as unsustainable while pump prices will remain unchanged for the next month. The numbers tell a different story. Now, rising import costs have been quietly offset through the Price Stabilization Fund, a mechanism financed by taxes and levies already charged on every litre of fuel. In effect, what looks like relief at the pump is simply taxpayers cushioning themselves through government policy.
After weeks of uncertainty and repeated assurances on fuel prices amid the Middle East war, the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority has announced that pump prices will remain unchanged. Good news, right? Wait. The devil, however, is in the details. A closer look at IPRA's tabulation shows the average landed cost, which is essentially the buying price of fuel, has risen from 75.31 shillings per litre for petrol, 76.08 for diesel, and 77.64 for kerosene, to 75.42 for petrol, 82.30 for diesel, and 82.63 for kerosene. The sharp increase in import costs should have pushed pump prices higher. But the Price Stabilization Fund has absorbed the difference, cushioning consumers from the spike. In simpler terms, subsidies are back. This means the government is once again spending billions to keep fuel affordable, a policy President William Ruto had previously dismissed as unsustainable. The new prices come at a time the government is under immense pressure to appease the public, which has expressed concern and worry over the cost of living and also political pressure.
It is only 14 days since maneno ya Iran ianze. And within those 14 days, there is no ship imeleta mafuta Kenya. Kumaanisha ile iko Kenya ililetwa na bei ile ya chini. Msijaribu wa Kenya tafadhali.
The Stabilization Fund or subsidy is not free money. It is financed through taxes and levies already charged on every litre of fuel, meaning Kenyans are still paying, just indirectly. What looks like relief at the pump is essentially a redistribution of taxpayer funds. For now, motorists breathe easy. But the bigger question remains, how long can the government sustain subsidies it once vowed to abandon?
Now tonight, Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki has slammed his predecessor Rigathi Gachagua for running a briefcase party incapable of matching the ruling UDA party formidable organizational skills ahead of the next year's general election. Kindiki, who spoke during a media briefing on the party election, said UDA grassroots network will deliver the party's victories in the next year's presidential polls. Apollo Kamal reports.
UDA party seamless Phase 3 repeat polls held across 18 counties, save for a few hiccups and the death of a returning officer in Tigania West due to an asthma attack, give the party a new lease of life in its preparations for the 2027 presidential poll, with Deputy President Kithure Kindiki saying the general election will be a walkover for the party in the Mount Kenya region against Rigathi Gachagua's DCP party, which he described as a briefcase party.
You only compare likes with likes. I don't know why you are comparing UDA, a formidable party with solid structures and national credentials, with some other party formed by someone who has put the registration certificate in his pocket and is dishing out party positions to his friends, relatives, and cronies. UDA does not play in that league. You can even see from the gentleman here, this is a national party from Western Kenya, and this is just those who are around here. It was not designed that anybody would be here. Some are in the field. So that question, Apollo, is misplaced.
Kindiki downplaying fears on ODM irreducible minimums for his position and zoning of ODM strongholds ahead of the two parties' technical committee inaugural sitting, tasked to midwife the much-anticipated coalition towards the end of the year.
And I dare any of the other parties to try what we are doing nationally. They can't even attempt. So that's where we are. And this is the party to watch, not just in Mount Kenya, in the whole country, from coast to northeastern, from Nyanza to central to Rift Valley. This is the party of the present and the future. And I'm very proud to be a deputy party leader of this great party.
Saturday's polling centers repeat polls, seen as a vote of confidence in the run-up to the party's nominations ahead of next year's polls, were however marred by few incidences of tablets delays in a few polling centers, names of missing candidates, while the party reported the turnout as commendable in the polls, which was extended in some polling centers.
Hata ukiangalia vile tuko hapa, watu wamejitokeza wengi sana. Kwa hivyo inamaanisha hii chama cha UDA ni chama strong.
Kuna viti mbili ambazo tumesema they are non-negotiable. Kiti ya rais na kiti ya naibu wake. Hiyo maneno tumefunga na tukatupa kifunguo mbali.
UDA anticipates to complete its party elections by June this year, setting in motion plans to consolidate campaigns for President William Ruto's re-election in August 2027. Apul Kamau, TV47.
All right, to some sporting action, and the stage is set ahead of tomorrow's final showdown of the WRC Safari Rally in Hell's Gate. Our sports reporter Nzuki Allen is on the ground as the vibe turns up in Naivasha with thousands already in the Rift Valley area. Take a look.
Yes, Betty, Kyallo, for some reason I believe you'd have loved to be here while you're not, of course, on duty today. However, right here is just one of the stages whereby people are coming and joining after the Safari Rally to have fun. Because remember, Safari Rally is not just about the cars, it's about the vibe Kenya brings, especially in Naivasha in the Rift Valley region. Allow me to take a look at you, to allow you to take a look about how the cars have showed up in high numbers. All of these people are here just to see Calligraph Jones perform today, who is the headliner performer of tonight, and the vibe is turning up in Naivasha. Remember, we have a lot of these places in Naivasha. This is not the only place where people are going to be turning up tonight, because as I told you, Betty, it's not just about the rally, it's about the vibe, it's about the love, it's about celebrating what we love to host, the WRC Safari Rally. Also on the sporting action, it's been quite an interesting day, because remember, in the morning, Toyota woke up with a top 5 lead. However, by the end of today, they only have one person in the top 5, because Sebastian Ogier, Elfin Evans and Oliver Solberg, who are the favorites for this rally, were all forced to withdraw from the racing because of various mechanical reasons. That is how tough the WRC Safari Rally really is. It's been quite an interesting day, and it gets even better because tomorrow at Hell's Gate, in the Wolf Power stage, the final stage, the Super Sunday action, it's about to go down as all attention turns to Hell's Gate to see who will be crowned the new champion, because now we are assured that we might just have a new champion in the WRC Safari Rally, with defending champion Elfin Evans already out of contention. It's about to go down, Betty, and trust me, people are turning up all over here, Naivasha, here, everywhere. We're going to have the headline performers. Remember, this is just not about the rally. Once again, I say it's more about the vibe we bring, the government, the partnerships. All of them have put a heart to this, because for the first time this year, we have broken the record for 400,000 people to 600,000 people attending this spectacular showpiece. So it's about to go down. The vibe is good. We're loving it. A lot of people are loving it. Many of the people are inside. They are having their fun because trust you me when I tell you, Naivasha is a place to be. And in case you're coming tonight, drive safely, be safe. However, Betty, back to you in studio and have yourself a very lovely night. And for me, let me go back and have the fun.
So, Alan, you made me feel FOMO. You know what? Just enjoy. You know what? Just enjoy yourself on behalf of all of us here. Tunashikilia ground. But of course, you can tell, like he's saying, a lot of vibes. You know what? Watch out tutajaribu next year. Probably we'll do the show from there. But have fun to everybody, of course, part of the TV47 crew who's down there. So we'll take a short commercial break. But you know what? We are coming back with Say What? Sawapa lazima kazi endele. And tonight we have a very touchy subject, and we're talking about paying bills. Who should be paying bills? You know, in a relationship, in a home, is it the man who's always supposed to do it, or should they be shared? We're going to be discussing that in a few minutes. Don't go away.